Hello, it's Gabby here. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first YouTube video, so please bear with me. I'm going to talk about fragrance, going to get right into it. Perfumes, my passion, absolutely love it. Yeah, it's just a huge passion of mine. And in this first video, I would like to talk about my top 5 fragrances. I have many fragrances. I have near on, not well, it's not huge. I wouldn't say it's huge anyway. Nearly 50. That's probably a lot to some of you. To me, it's not. But these 5 are probably my go-to fragrances that I've loved, that have a piece of nostalgia. So have a little bit of a history behind them. Go through the notes. If you want to like, comment or subscribe to me, please feel free to. If I can answer any questions, then I will. Okay, so I'll crack right into it. So I would say this very first fragrance is a recent fragrance of mine that I purchased about 2 months ago, maybe, while I was on holiday in Italy. It had just been launched and by a very famous French company, and I was actually going to buy another perfume, but I smelt this perfume when I was in Sephora and I absolutely loved it from the smell on my skin when I first tested it. And it's by Yves Saint Laurent and it's called Mon Paris. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I loved the packaging straight away. This is just the 30ml that I got. I didn't want to get the 50ml. I thought I'd just try the 30ml, and actually a lot of my fragrances, apart from one that I have here, are 100ml. I normally get the 30ml or the 50ml. I normally like to get the smaller sizes because I like to throw them in my handbag. If I get the big size, then I have a big size and then I have a smaller size in my handbag. But anyway, this is Yves Saint Laurent, Mon Paris. The smell, I'll go through the notes with you. The top notes, I got this from Fragrantica, which is a website, fantastic website for reviews. If you're thinking about fragrances you want to purchase, it's a really good website. So Fragrantica, on the website, it says the top notes are bergamot, pear, raspberry and strawberry. Now from the get-go I could smell the pear straight away as soon as I put it on my skin. I couldn't really smell the bergamot. Bergamot, that's a citrus smell, and you normally get that in a lot of chypre-based fragrances, but I couldn't really get that. But the pear I could really get from the get-go when I put it on my skin. The middle notes are peony, sambac jasmine and orange blossom. I would say I really get the peony, the florals really do come through with this fragrance. Really strong. For me anyway, the florals are really, really strong. But actually, that's what, excuse me, I'm just like touching my nose there. Really, really strong I get from the florals in this fragrance. But as you'll come to get through my fragrances, a lot of my fragrances in general do have, I like a floral aspect to the fragrance. But I like fragrances that have longevity. And these 5 fragrances that I have do have longevity. This one I would say probably has the least longevity out of all my fragrances, but it still has the longevity there and it still has the projection there as well. I would say from the projection you could probably smell it at an arm's length, and the sillage, as we call it in French, the trail that it leaves, is quite nice as well. But it's a scent that you do have to get close to if you want to smell it on somebody, I would say. And then the base notes, you have patchouli and baroxen, I don't know what that is, and white musk. And I would say it's the white musk that envelops this fragrance, that gives it the warmth. And this is what I love on it. Now some musky fragrances, I think gone are the day when fragrances, were heavy with musk. Oh, I couldn't stand that. But I would say with this, with Mon Paris, it's the musk is soft. The white musk is soft and gentle. I can't really smell the patchouli so much. Patchouli is a shrub, and when a perfume dries down, you can, with patchouli, it can be quite strong, whereas with this, it isn't strong at all. If anything, it's very, very soft. So yeah, Mon Paris by Yves Saint Laurent. The advertising of this is, you'll probably see it a lot on the TV at the moment. It's their newest fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent. And yeah, great, love it. So yeah, this is my go-to fragrance when I want to just feel a bit fresh, feel a bit more carefree. And yeah, and actually my manager at work, she commented on this fragrance when I wore it. She said, "What is that smell?" So she loved it. So and I said to her, "Oh, it's Mon Paris." And she was like, "Oh, it smells beautiful." So yeah, I would say it's a bit of a crowd pleaser, this fragrance. That's why I do like it. So I would say the next fragrance that I absolutely adore and absolutely love is a retro fragrance. It belonged to my mother, and it reminds me of my mother. And again, it's by the house of Yves Saint Laurent. It's a 70s fragrance, and it is Rive Gauche. Now, Rive Gauche is, yeah, it's a retro fragrance. It's a 70s fragrance. It's strong, it's woody, it's aldehydic, so it's got the aldehydes as you smell it. I love it. I absolutely, when I do smell this, it takes me back to when I was a small child. And that's probably why I like to smell it, because it gives it a comfort smell to me. And fragrance with us does have, it can evoke memories. And this evokes really good memories of when I was a child. But now, when I wear it, because it's a strong, it's a powerful fragrance, I like to wear it on days in, I don't know, in winter. I wouldn't say, it's not really a fragrance I would maybe wear in the summer, but if you want to make a statement, you certainly do make a statement with Yves Saint Laurent. The top notes of this anyway, according to Fragrantica, has aldehyde, has the bergamot. Yes, I can smell the bergamot. I would say this is quite a, maybe a classic chypre, I don't know. Because I would say maybe it's a more of a floral chypre, because I can smell the geranium, ylang ylang, but it's that magnolia that cuts through that I can really, really smell. And then the base, you've got the oak moss, the vetiver, sandalwood, it gives a softness to it, and the musk. Again, musk gives the warmth to it as well. I like a lot of fragrances that have a base note of sandalwood or musk, because it just gives a warmth, but it has that woody base that I absolutely adore. Yeah. Not many women probably wear this now, or men, because remember, fragrance to me is genderless, you know. If a man wants to wear this, he could wear this. Not that my husband would. But yeah, I love the packaging. I love it because you can just throw it in the bag. It looks like a deodorant can, but so what? It's classic. It's timeless. It was at a time in the 70s when Yves Saint Laurent brought out this perfume in the early 70s when the slogan was pour les femmes qui ne sont pas efficaces, which means in English it means it's not for the woman that's shy or retiring. And I'm certainly not shy or retiring, as people will say to me. And my mother wasn't certainly shy or retiring. But yeah, I again love this fragrance, and I will wear this when I want to feel a bit more powerful, when I want to feel I want to make a statement, and this certainly does. My third fragrance, I would say out of the 5 that I really, really love, is a fragrance that I've rediscovered. It's a fragrance I will only wear actually on my days off from work, because I have a colleague at work that wears this as her signature fragrance, so I don't want to clash with her. So, but I love it, I adore it, because it's fresh, because it's aquatic, and because it's a floral. It has to be Issey Miyake L'eau. Now, this is really floral, really aquatic, really fresh. It has those white florals in it. It was released in the early 90s, and I wore it in the 90s. Then I stopped wearing it. I think it was very popular in the 90s. It maybe got a bit too popular. Maybe that's why I stopped wearing it. And now 20 years later, I'm wearing it again. Why? Because again, it reminds me of when I was in my 20s, and now I'm in my 40s. It's a fragrance that hasn't dated. Very, very different to the last fragrance by Rive, Gauche. Because it's very aquatic. It's got those water lilies in, I think. Yeah, it's got those lilies. It's got the lotus flower in there I can smell. But the base again, you've got the sandalwood, which gives it that softness, but it has the longevity. And this is what I love about this fragrance. You can smell it. You can spray this. Even though it's eau de toilette, you can spray this first thing in the morning. And for an eau de toilette, 4 or 5 hours later, you can still smell it on you. That's what I love about it. I love the shape of it, and actually I think the shape of it is meant to be like the Eiffel Tower. I think, I might be wrong, but I don't know, somewhere I read. Again, I think this could be worn by a man as well as a woman. Actually, I would say, you know, any of these fragrances could be worn by a man or a woman. Maybe Mon Paris, if a man wanted to wear it, he could, but this fragrance, yeah, it certainly could. But I wear this on my days off. I'm actually wearing this today, and I'm going to spritz a bit more. I sprayed this on about 6-7 hours ago, so the smell has kind of dissipated a little bit. But yeah, as I'm smelling it on me, I can smell the freesia in it as well. Freesia is one of my all-time top favourite florals, and I think because of the freesia in it, yeah, I absolutely do love it. I think it may have tuberose in it as well, and I like tuberose as well. Tuberose is one of my other fragrances, which I'll show you in a minute, which I love. So yeah, so my husband loves this on me. Earlier today he said to me, "What are you smelling? You smell nice." And I said it was Issey Miyake L'eau, and he was like, "Oh, it smells lovely." And yeah, I like it. It's really lovely. The next fragrance, my fourth fragrance that I absolutely have in this collection, is an old fragrance. It's an oldie and a goodie, and I wear it predominantly at night time. For me, it's not a daytime fragrance. It has to be Poison or Poison by Christian Dior. Love the bottle. I just love the look of it straight away. I never wore this when it first came out. When I wore perfume in the 90s, I never really, or 80s, I never really wore this. This is a very polarising fragrance, so people either love it or hate it. I'm in the category where I love it. Love the top, love the packaging. It looks like a piece of forbidden fruit that Snow White could just like bite into, and it really is, I would say, my poison. It's a reformulated version. Dior do reformulate their perfumes a lot. This has probably been reformulated 2 or 3 times. I don't have the vintage of this, unfortunately, so this is a newer version. But I still love it. The top notes, when you spray it, you can smell those white florals, but it has that spiciness to it, which I absolutely love. And it's got the coriander, it's got the berries, it's got the plum. The plum you can smell in the top note, but it's got the tuberose. It's the heart and the base that I absolutely love. When I first spray this, for about the first 10 minutes, you have to, like 15 minutes, you have to get yourself accustomed to it for a good 15 minutes. And then after that, after about 15 minutes, half an hour, the heart notes start to come through, where you've got that tuberose, honey, incense. Yes, that's a hallelujah word for me. I love incense. The rose. But you've got, when it dries down, it dries, to me, it dries down with that tuberose, the honey, the incense, together with the sandalwood love again, musk, the amber. But this has longevity like you wouldn't believe, and this has projection like you wouldn't believe. I can smell it, I can spray this on me. The next day in the morning, I will still smell it on my clothes. A couple of days later, I will still smell it on my clothes. Yes, it has that projection, and it has that staying power. It commands an audience, Poison does, really does. And if you spray it correctly, i.e. I tend to spray it at arm's length and then walk into it, or I just do 2 scooches and that's enough. This for me is more than enough. Some people, that you can smell their perfume before then, that's not good, because they've doused themselves, they've sprayed like 9, 10 scooches. I call it a scooch. Some people call it a squirt, I call it a scooch. But they do 9, 10 scooches of it, and boy, can you smell them. And boy, they're making a statement, but in a wrong way. You want a perfume, you want a fragrance that people will say, what are you wearing? And will want to come closer. People will, when I've worn this, they'll say, what are you wearing? And I tell them, and they'll be like, really? I thought that was like a really strong, heady perfume. Yes, it is. But if you apply it correctly, people will want to come into you, and people will want to smell what you're wearing. And yeah, and don't forget, this won a Fifi award, I think not long after it was launched. So, you know, it's still in the Dior wardrobe. It might be at the bottom of the Dior wardrobe for some, but in my wardrobe it's the top. And I own several Diors. I do own a vintage of one of Dior's that I do love, and I probably will talk about in a review later on. But yes, this, I couldn't wear this to work. No, evening, when I go out with my husband for a meal, when I want seduction, this one certainly gives. So yeah, so Poison by Christian Dior. And finally, the fragrance that is in my Hall of Fame, that I wore on my wedding day, that I stopped as my signature scent, gone back to as my signature scent, but now I would say I wear it when I want to, when it takes me back to a memory. I don't know, it just has that, in French, it'd say it has that je ne sais quoi about it. It has to be from the house of Gauche, the original. Not the flankers, and boy, there's many flankers. There's dozens of them. Well, I know there's dozens of them, but there's more than 10 flankers of this. And I've not worn any of the other flankers of this. I've only worn the original. Yes, this is the 100 mils. Yes, I have backup of this. Yes, I will never run out of this. I just want to touch it, just want to stroke it. It's beautiful. It is really, really beautiful. This came out at the beginning of the millennium, the year 2000. And this is, I wore this on my wedding day those years ago. And it has a different scent to any other of the fragrances that I've ever owned. It's quite a difficult one to describe. On Fragrantica it's described, I think, as floral fruity. I don't know. There's a lot of floral fruity fragrances out there, but to me it's very powdery, but it's woody as well with the dry down. The top notes that you'll smell straight away, well, it says it's meant to have rose and jasmine. I can smell the rose straight up. Jasmine I can't really smell, and I love jasmine, but I can't really smell in it. It has a powdery, it's a powdery rose. It's a bit like, my husband says it's a little bit like Turkish Delight. Now, yeah, some people can say it's a bit like Turkish Delight, but it's a modern twist on a rose. It's not like your old rose, you know, from 40, 50, 60 years ago. It's not like that at all. It's a modern day rose, and it's enveloped with the heart notes of the peach and the vanilla, and the vanilla gives it that bit of warmth to it. Well, I think it does. But because it's wrapped in this peach, it's that fleshy peach that gives it that ethereal feel to it. And then the base down, the dry down, you've got the sandalwood and the musk. Yes, that's the soft. I wouldn't say that I can smell the musk too much. The sandalwood is a soft, although it's a woody, I think it's quite a soft dry down to it. But I love the advertising that was done for Ghost, actually, because it shows this man that was sat down and he saw this woman, she was alluring, walks off, goes to try and chase her, or, you know, she walks off again, and then he finally finds her. He goes through all these alleys and he finally finds her just by this bridge, and she looks at him, he's captivated by her, and then he holds her, and then she dissipates. It's like this ethereal ghost. And this is really, and they got that down to a T. Ghost is so ethereal, it's so alluring, it's captivating. When I wore this to work one day, one of my co-workers said to me, "Oh, when you're walking down the corridor, Gabby, I can just smell you as you're walking down, and it's soft and it's gentle." And in my job, it's quite a soft and gentle job I do. Anyway, I work as a massage therapist, and so I want to smell lovely anyway. And this kind of does, it makes, it's for, I have such fond memories, and because I wore this on my wedding day, you know, my husband just wants to come in close to me, and I feel this fragrance, it does, it makes, it's inviting, and it's very, very beautiful, and yeah, I absolutely adore it. So yeah, so those are my top 5 fragrances in my wardrobe of fragrances. Thank you for listening. Remember, if you want to comment, please do. If you want to like, please do. If you feel you want to subscribe, please do, you can. I am on Instagram, which I'll put a link to, which you can follow me on. And yeah, so guys, thank you very much. And as we say in French, till the next time, à la prochaine. Au revoir.